Welcome to this Lucky 44 tutorial for Arma 2 editing. I got a request to do a tutorial on using the AttachTo command, and I looked on YouTube and I didn't see anything that was pretty good, so I'm going to whip this one up. So what if you wanted to put an ammo crate in the back of a truck? Or something a little crazier, what if you wanted to put an M119 on top of a Humvee and drive it around? You could use AttachTo. Let's look at that. To the editor we go. Okay, so there are a couple ways you could do this. The first thing you need to understand is the XYZ axis. So I'm going to put this picture in here to explain the XYZ axis. You've got the X is the left to right axis. And if we're talking about a vehicle like this Humvee, as you go to the right of the vehicle, that goes in the positive direction. And as you go to the left, it goes in the negative direction. That's the x-axis. The y-axis is the front to back axis, and as you go forward, that's positive, and as you go backward, that's negative. And the z-axis is the vertical axis, and as you go up, that's positive, and down is negative. Okay? So keep this picture in mind as we get into the three number coordinate system. Yeah, 3-axis coordinate system. So what we could do is we could say, let's, nope, sorry. I've named this vehicle Hum1, by the way. So the Humvee is named Hum1, the truck is named Truck1, the ammo crate is named Crate1, and the gun is named Gun1. One simple thing I could do would be to go, if I wanted to permanently connect the, or at least initially connect the gun to the Humvee, I could say Gun1 attach to square bracket the name of the thing I'm going to attach it to, Hum1, comma, another square bracket, and here I'm going to put the coordinates on Hum1 for the object. So I'm just going to say 0, comma, 0, comma, 0, and close those brackets so that it's going to be centered on the XYZ position of the Hummer. And then I'm going to close that second bracket. If I put that in, the gun would start just like you saw it attached to the Humvee. I'm going to do it slightly differently, however. I'm going to put it in a trigger, in a radio trigger, which I'm going to set up to radio alpha. I'm going to just give it the name Gun1 to Hum1. And then I'm going to put that same text that I just typed before to attach it. This just allows me to demonstrate how it's going to be attached. I wouldn't really suggest doing that in the game. Similarly, I'm going to set up a way to attach Crate1 to Truck1. But you'll notice that I've given it the y coordinate of -2.5. And I'll explain that in a minute. And then I've also created a detach script, which I'll explain in a minute using the detach command. I think that's all we need to know. Let's preview. That's my waiting for load song. Isn't it great? You like that? And okay, even with a SATA 3 SSD, it still takes a bit to load up. Alright, so step 1 is I'm going to use my radio triggers 0, 0, 1 to attach it. Now you might notice that left to right it's centered nicely. Front to back, you could move it back a little and get rid of some of this stuff, you know, so it would sit a little farther back on the Humvee. But mainly the vertical is kind of a pain here. It's way down into the drivers and passengers positions. So I probably want to change the vertical position on that. I'll come back to that. Now the ammo crate. Let's put that ammo crate in the back of the truck. Again, I've set it up to 002, and there it goes. If I get a little closer, you might be able to notice that the crate is not sitting on the deck, actually. Big deal? No. But if you wanted to get picky, you'd want to put a little negative on the z-axis for that. How do we do it? Well, let's go back and look. Okay, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to change a couple things. I'm going to change the gun, instead of being 000, I'm going to change its position to be 0.5. Sorry, negative 0.5. No, 0.5 positive, because I want it to be higher than it was before. Then I'm going to go over to the crate. Oh, and you notice that I already put the Y position to negative 2.5. So it's negative 2.5, well, it's 2.5 meters farther to the back of the truck. Let's get real tricky and go 2.6 meters so it's closer to the gate. But let's also make it negative 0.2 probably. Let's go 2.5 meters to drop it down. Its vertical position drop down a little. All right, let's see how that looks. Here goes my song. You ready? I wonder if that song comes from anything particular. Alright, don't tease me for my whistling. Alright, so let's put the gun on. 001. And now you see it's sitting up. Some people might say that's too high, but whatever. You can tweak that. You get the idea. And now the crate. 2. Let's see. It's a little farther back, but you can't really notice. I could go further. And it looks like it's sitting pretty much on the deck there. What happens if we get in the truck? Yeah, then we can see it's still sitting up. Yeah. Oh, notice that I can't see it. That's interesting. Okay, from third person I can though. It's still sitting up a little bit off the deck. So that gives you the basics. Now, if I drive the truck around, the object is attached to it, so it's going to go with me. You remember that I set up the third, turn the engine off, the third trigger, the 003, to detach it. What's going to happen? It's detached, but that looks okay there. It's right underneath it, because what I did was drop it right down. Now, like I said, this isn't a real good way to do it for most situations in game, because no matter where the crate is, and no matter where the truck is, if I hit 02, boom, you know, it could be halfway across Pakistan and it would jump into there. You might be able to use that sometimes, but anyway, let's go in the editor and I'll show you what I did with the detach. So that third radio Charlie trigger has 2 elements. Detach, crate 1. That's the whole syntax. Whatever it's attached to, it's detached now. The second part is to set the position, because if I just left it like that, it would be like ungluing it from the truck, but it would still be sitting in the same position, which would look a little funny. When the truck drove away, the crate would be hanging in the air. Trust me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use set pause to set the position. So I'm going to say crate 1 set pause, and then I have to give it an XY coordinate. I'm going to give it the X coordinate by finding its current X coordinate. Get pause, crate 1, select 0. So it's going to pick the X coordinate, XYZ. It's going to pick 0. 0 is the first one. So it's going to say your new X coordinate is going to be your current X coordinate, Mr. Crate. And then it's going to do get pause, crate 1, select 1, XYZ. It's going to keep its same Y coordinate. But the Z coordinate, the third one, is going to be 0, so it'll sit on the ground. So you remember that's what I did when I demonstrated it. It took it out of the truck and put it on the ground straight below it. If I had had it more centered on the vehicle, that would be a little odd. But I think that's it. I deeply suggest that you get used to using the BIS Wiki. You can Google Arma BIS Wiki and the BI Studio Wiki and look up AttachTo, and it has the syntax and some explanations that are pretty helpful. Hope this has been helpful. Let me know if there's more that you really need.